It's good to know what people think of it, isn't it? Their immediate reaction to messaging and all.
Right, I'm not asking contacts today, someone else.
No, I'm not.
Definitely.
I'll walk downstairs.
Like, you can ask me to contact today.
Good to have a bit of training. Good to have a little bit of training.
Was I for a coffee? I was. Sorry? Not quite up there with tablets against Spurs, like. Chance to win as well if he just squares it. The worst thing we had, that we had it, we got beat. We've definitely got to penalties at least because there's no way worse scoring than them.
Have you received that higher? Well, have you received interest?
No point in bringing that in the back.
There you go. So, June starts. So,
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
These are like boys who can just say, like, play this way, play that way. Thanks, mate. Yeah. Still going on the old dry Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 48 hours.
do you always do dry January?
Not like I haven't the last couple of years, mate. Felt like I needed to this year. To be honest, it's the one time I've felt poorly is this month. Last week, cough and cold and that. Yeah. Like, despite all the alcohol we smashing, all the alcohol we smashing in the build-up to Christmas and everything, I wasn't ill at all over Christmas. And then January hits, the week of dry January,
My birthday was yesterday.
oh, happy birthday, mate. I've not struggled one bit with it though. It would have been nice to have a pint on Saturday when Sunday nights, but I'm not like desperate for it. It's got to be a favour, isn't it? Yeah. And then change it on the 1st of February. 14 pints of Feltons, please. I think that's suspended.
Oh, what, from the action? So what would you actually do to make Arne get a load
saw a bit, I just caught it.
Vegan.
You know what? I wonder what. I guessed it was news. I just saw his post on LinkedIn. Some fellas abused it. Robbie's gone back. It's gone. You know what? Yeah. sort of contracts out.
Does he want to be on with the housewives?
Disney cartoon, you've seen it inside out.
Yeah.
Class.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Arne, just to start with, check on TVs really. Joe Gomez and Darwin Nunes, the only two absentees lately. And how far away is Joe at the moment?
Quite far. He's definitely not training with the team yet, and Darwin is suspended. So those are the two we will miss tomorrow.
What sense is there when it comes to this game that do you see Forest as title contenders, and therefore how decisive a moment could this be in your season?
I've always said that you can judge the table best halfway through the season, and that moment is there now. So if Forest is then up there with us, with Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, and all the others, then they definitely are a team that's in competition with us and with the other teams. And they deserve to be treated like this if you look at the way they play, if you look at their results. Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult challenge tomorrow to get a result.
Obviously, they can close the gap between yourselves to 3 points at the same time as well. What sense is there that maybe you owe them one for what happened at Anfield earlier this season?
I think they already showed in retrospect how good of a team they are. Leading up to that game, I think they had 2 draws and 1 win. So that's why in general, I think every time when Liverpool loses a home game, that is something we don't expect. I think in that moment of time, I also saw the stat that Virgil played 100 home games for Liverpool, only lost once. So for us to lose then on that day was for me hard to take, as you probably experienced. Now looking back at it and seeing where they are in the league, it's not as been such a shock result as I thought it was back then. So they had a very good game plan, changed the wingers that normally played and brought them in the end, and they made a difference. So although I expect their wingers that have done so well to be in the starting 11 tomorrow, is that something he changed back then, and that worked really well for them during that game.
Given the players that you've got available now, and the fact that you've only got a couple missing for a game like this, and very few injured at the moment, the way that you've managed the players, how much of an advantage do you think that will be now going into a really busy period when you see a lot of Premier League clubs around you that have got a lot of injuries?
Yeah, but that is also there's also this moment, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago or in 2 weeks, things can be totally different. But it's definitely helpful for every manager everywhere around the world to have all your players available. And that is what we almost have at the moment. And that's a very positive thing because we play so many games. And not only us, all the teams that are in Europe here in England play a lot of games because there's a League Cup and an FA Cup to be played in as well. So then it helps if they are available, but yeah, you can't compare all situations together. Some teams have squads that are even bigger than us. Some teams don't have a squad that's bigger than us, but the teams we are in competition with, of course, they would have loved to have all their players available. But there are also teams that have a lot of players in their squad. But ideally, like I said, you want to have all your players available. That's what we are having at the moment. Let's hope that almost all of them, we can continue going like this.
And in terms of having seen some of the young players play at the weekend in the FA Cup game, how excited are you by the next crop of young players that are going to be coming through and you'll have at your disposal in future?
That's very important for every club, but especially for this club. I think I said it after the last League Cup game, not in Tottenham, but the one before. That this club always brought talents through the ranks. Is that the way you say it? Yeah. And it's nice to see that again there are a few youngsters that are having impact already in our training sessions. But like you saw in the game Saturday, also during the game, with Jaden scoring, with Rio having a good game, with Trey assisting to the fourth goal that Federico made. So it's always nice because it gives also good energy in the building. If youth and academy players train with us, do well, play with us, do well, that gives nice energy in the team as well.
Arne, I can remember you saying earlier on in the season that the formation that you most like to play against was a low defensive block, because you will have more possession. Nottingham Forest this season have got that system almost off to a fine art, as they showed at Anfield and in games since then. And why do you think they've been able to implement that in such a successful fashion? I know they have the pace in the wide areas with the fullbacks as well as the wingers, and very clever in midfield. It is going to be a difficult threat for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think what every manager tries to do is find the game plan or the playing style that suits the players best. And I think that is what the manager of Nottingham, Nuno, did very well. So the playing style they have suits them really good. So they have a hard-working team. So without the ball, they work really hard. Chris Wood is a great example of that. But he's also a player that can hold the ball. And they have, like you said, very fast wingers and players on the midfield that can bring these wingers in promising positions. Mostly in counter-attacks, but they are not only counter-attacks. That's definitely not true. They've scored and been a threat by counter-attacks a lot, but they can also bring the ball if the ball is on the floor. So they hardly take the risk of build-up from the goalkeeper, but if they bring the ball to the floor, then you can see the quality they also have when they want to play. So, yeah, I think Nuno did a great job in implementing a style of play that suits the players very good, very well.
Great to see Diogo Jota getting back on the score sheet at the weekend. He's had so many problems with injuries in the past 12 months or so, and different injuries. Will you devise a special program to try and maintain his fitness levels and sort of manage his time? Because he can be such a fabulous addition for you, not just with his finishing where he's clinical, but he's so aggressive at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah. I think we, for all of them, have for 80% the same program, and then the last 20% is for every player individual. So they do individual work in the gym as well. So it's not only for him that we have a special program. We try to have a special program for all the squad players we have. And it's true. He's like all the others, someone I like to have in my squad. I like to have him available. And when it comes to building up his match fitness, I think you also saw that it went from 30 minutes to 30 minutes to a bit more. And now he's ready to play 90. And that's a good thing because we have to play many games in the upcoming weeks. and it's nice to have him available, and hopefully he stays like this for the last 4 or 5 months.
Jota also wore the armbands at the weekend. Been interesting hearing your views on what players bring off the pitch. Just wondering now, as obviously a senior member of that forward line, what is he like in amongst the group?
Hard worker, what you see on the pitch as well. So tries to become a better player every single day. Is a player that is in my opinion good in both parts. So he's a threat when he's attacking, but for a number 9 like Chris Wood, I just said, he works really hard as well. And I think that's modern football. You need to have 11 players that work really hard. Back in the days when I played, you could be a number 10 like me that didn't do that much without the ball. But in modern football, that's impossible if you want to compete. And so Jota is he's an experienced player, so that was also one of the reasons why he wore the armband. I think he served the club the longest from the players that were in the team at that moment. So yeah, let's hope he stays fit.
With both teams near the top of the table, it's kind of been suggested this is a bit of a throwback fixture to some of those jostles in the 70s and 80s. Not expecting a history lesson by any stretch, but how much of that are you kind of aware of back in the day?
I think it was 10 minutes ago when someone told me, I'm not going to say who, that it was 78, 79 at Liverpool, and then 2 years Forest, and then Liverpool again. So I'm aware of that. But of course I didn't know the exact years, but I did know that that Forest was a big force in English football for a long period of time. But that's been quite a long time ago, and now they're all back at it. But they are doing really, really good, and Nuno is doing an incredible job. But if you look at the amount of money they've spent, it's not a complete surprise that they do well this season.
Carl?
You say you only like to judge the league table, start to judge the league table at the halfway stage. I'm just wondering, as you're new to the league, how do you judge your first half of the season personally?
Yeah, I said you can judge the league table better halfway through the season than after 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 games. But we also know that in the second half of the season, teams improve for a few reasons. Some teams bring extra players in the January window. In general, it's a good thing, and it should be like this, that if a manager works longer with the team starts to play better. And there's, I think, even more at stake in the second half of the season. At least that's what you sometimes feel. So that's why you see some shocking results in the last part of the season, where teams that are battling against relegation all of a sudden can win against a top 4, top 5 team. So that's why we have to improve, and that's why it is it's a good way of judging the league table, but it's still a long way to go. With for us 20 games to be played, and for the rest 19. Am I correct now? Or 19 to 18? 19, 18, I think. Yeah.
But for you personally, has it gone better than you could have imagined, or as you expected it to go?
I said many times that if you go into a job, you don't think about where will we be halfway through the season when it comes to the position in the league table. What you do try and are focused on a lot is can we make the players really fit, and can we let them work really hard, and can we implement playing style in the best possible way from the start on already. And you never know what the other teams are going to do. So I don't think any one of us would have expected to be where City is at the moment, although you can see already now that they are coming back, that they are winning their games in a way where we're all like, this is City again. So you don't think about these things before the start of the season. You mostly think about, okay, can I let these players play in a way I would like them to play, and hopefully the fans would like them to play as well.
Liverpool scored more goals than anyone else in the Premier League this season, but they're coming up against a team who are on 5 consecutive clean sheets. Now, considering that they're not really giving up chances, let alone conceding goals at the moment, but Liverpool have won every single game which they've scored first. Do you think that the opening to this game might be more important than even some of the other games?
I think the opening of a game is always very important, especially if you play an away game, because I assume and I think I'm 100% right that the atmosphere in the stadium will be fired up tomorrow before the game and definitely from the start. So that makes it even more important to don't get that going even more. But yeah, they are a team that hardly concedes goals, and there's also a reason for that. They don't take the risk in build-up. So mostly when they lose a ball, they've got many players behind the ball. And if they do have to defend, I see 11 players that work really hard to prevent the other teams from scoring. That is something we have in common with Forest, and that's probably also the reason why we are. Did we concede less or just as much? You're about the data. Just a few less. So there's that's probably the main reason why these teams don't concede a lot, because and then they have centre backs that can defend the box really well. So if you bring a lot of crosses in, it's not easy to score against them. We've experienced this at Anfield because I looked the game back, and they didn't steal anything because we hardly created a chance. And yeah, they almost deserved to win because they made us play a poor game, and they were doing really well in that game. So we know it's going to be tough, not only because we faced them a few months ago, but also we all see how special of a season it is for them.
Arne, you mentioned then about watching the game back from September. What can your team learn from that? What do they need to do differently tomorrow night?
I watched it back because I wanted to see what we did back then in terms of tactics and what we could do now. But I assume, but I'm not sure, of course, because I don't make the lineup for Forest. But back then it was already a surprise for us that Hudson-Odoi and Elanga weren't playing. But they are playing so well now that it would again be a surprise to me if they don't start now. And back then they didn't start, and they played more with midfielders in these positions. So we have to wait and see. We are prepared for both, of course, but that we have to do better than that game, that is clear. And they have still similar playing style, like we still have the similar playing style. So we have to look into the details what we can do better than that game. Is that a... No. Testament means how positive that is from him as a person. Yeah, no, that is clear. So I asked Harvey to come into the room before we played that game because I know Harvey wants to get his chance at the number 10 position. And because of not the injuries we have, but players we didn't have available, I had to play him from the right. He did that really well, but for Wata it's the same, but I didn't even invite him in because I know Harvey is also a very good person, but I know what kind of person Wata is. He's just, wherever you play me, I will do my best. Whenever you play me, so if it's 5 minutes before the end, he comes in and gives everything he has, and that might be normal for a lot of fans to hear. But for as long as I'm into football, I've seen players that had to come in 5 minutes before the end, also doing different things and showing different attitude than Wata shows. So he's an important part of our team. Every time we need him on the midfield, or even now as a centre back, because I didn't want to bring Ibu in 2 days after he played against United, and then after 20 minutes we already had to make the substitution. And he did really well, Wata, because the moment I took him out of our last line, we conceded.